Hey, hey, hey! How are we all doing? Great to see you. Great to see you back. And I am back as well. Welcome to the Sunday night live stream reviewing the week of price action, what we've had, obviously, over the past week and also over the weekend, and then looking into next week. But yeah, big thank you for joining me. Do make sure you drop a like on the stream and let me know who we've got in the chat. We've got Save with Crypto. How we doing, mate? Great to see you. We've got Paul Heyman saying, hey, my name is Paul Heyman. Well, I am here to introduce. Well, thank you, Paul. Thank you for joining. And I don't believe I've seen you on the stream before. So please do subscribe if you haven't. And do make sure everyone else drops a like on the stream. Hope everyone's had a great weekend. Let me know in the chat what you've been up to over the weekend. I would love to know. And yeah, we will get cracking and having a look. Paul Heyman seems to be having a bit of a moment in the Undisputed. Dunder Thunder, how we doing? Great to see you, mate. I don't think I've seen you in a while, have I? Maybe I have. I don't know. I don't think I've seen you in a while though in the chat. But yeah, let me know what you've been up to over the weekend. How's your weekend been? It is great to see everybody. And yeah, let's get into it. So Bitcoin, obviously, we left Friday around here. We had just obviously had the big drop on Bitcoin, and then on stream we got the pump back up as US Open occurred, and then we've kind of been steadily grinding down, haven't we, since then? You know, we've put in a series of lower lows and lower highs, so that was interesting. And then of course we've had the red Stonksy background coming alongside momentum obviously dropping down as price dropped down, and we remain flat on the oscillator at -1. But yeah, Stonksy went red up here and caught the drop down very nicely. So it has been a red weekend. Now notably, let me just check the chat. Oh wow, ICT, you're watching on 2 accounts? You watching? Are you watching on 2 ICT? I haven't seen you in ages. You haven't been in the chat in weeks, mate. It's good to see you back. But are you? So I'm guessing your actual name is Paul Heyman, and you're watching on 2 accounts. I mean, well, that's good. You know, give me a like on both, please. Hi Nick, how we doing? All good, brother. I was looking but not talking. Still watch. Oh well, thank you for the support, mate. Thank you for still watching. It's great to see you. Yeah, but yeah, ICT, welcome back. Thank you for joining again. But yeah, where was you up to? Yes, so on Friday we was discussing, you know, the possibility of obviously up or down, and we were looking at you know, up is pretty self-explanatory, innit? We go higher, we create new record highs, and especially come for this liquidity built above here. Lower, we was looking at these series of lows, so we have got plenty of lows to sweep to the downside. We've got this build up here of wicks and lows, which obviously are a target for price. That's not too far away now. We then have this low, and then this low coming into here alongside a few other ones as well that are yet to be swept. So all the way down towards 100, which we did discuss putting in a potential higher low. You know, if we was to drift down here, say, you know, this week, maybe we don't do it very fast. Maybe we kind of drift down. If we drift down here, and notably you can see it better on the daily, just this build up of wicks, which obviously would provide liquidity sweeps. If we did, and then cemented, you know, some support down here and consolidated and started to push back up, that would be a really good opportunity to put in a higher low, potentially, for the price. Obviously then below there, we're looking at this range, which we looked at as well. But yeah, all in all, I still wouldn't really call this a correction at all. Even we've dipped, so what have we dipped from all-time high? We've dipped about 4%. Yeah, I still wouldn't put this in corrective territory. Personally, I would probably still put it in dip territory. Because again, when you look at the daily, we really haven't corrected that much at all. When you look at it on a daily, a proper correction would be probably a push down towards 100, and then yeah, like to put in that higher low, like we mentioned. What have we got going? I don't watch WWE. I don't watch WWE. I used to as a child. Yeah, I used to, but I don't anymore. I used to love it. I used to love it as a kid. I used to play WWE on PSP, PS2, PS3. Used to absolutely love it. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at to the downside. And then again, you know, to the upside, it's pretty self-explanatory. However, like we mentioned on Friday, this previous all-time high, which was put in January here, as you can see, got it marked out. I believe that this is the key. As you can see, when we tried to break the high. We did obviously break it, but then the daily close came pretty much right back in at that previous all-time high. Price then pushed up on the expansion, but then we tested below and then obviously still closed above up here. And then we dropped back below. And then as you can see yesterday, where did we reject from on the daily? Pretty much right at that previous all-time high, 109,588. So I think that is the key pivot point now for higher, because as it stands on the weekly chart, we're not doing something great, which is a swing failure pattern. So currently on the weekly, we're putting in a swing failure pattern. Now, I do also want to explore this series of candles that we've had. Let me know your thoughts in the chat anyway. It'd be great to hear everyone's thoughts in the chat. But as it stands, we're putting in a swing failure pattern of the all-time high. So what is a swing failure pattern? It's when you swing above the upper or lower wick of a candle and then close back inside. So obviously to the upside, we've swung above and then closed below. Now, we have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weekly candles green in a row. That to me potentially suggests we are in a period of maybe a pullback / correction. If we look back here, we don't often get this. On expansion to the upside here, we got 4 in a row. Notably, back here we got 4 in a row. Then we had it in, and obviously just to note that it doesn't have to mean that we just come shooting down. If you notice this one, that gave a bit of a break in the price. Didn't really take the price anywhere, but it did close red. Here we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So potentially, there would be another week in it. But if we go and have a look, even to to the last bull market, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then a red one. Here we had 5. We had 4 here. Here we had 5. So we don't often see historically this many green weekly candles in a row on Bitcoin. It just is something that doesn't happen. It happens once in a while. So the last time we got this many green candles in a row was back in late 2023. So, a year and a half ago, over a year and a half ago. So that is also something to bear in mind, is just the expansion. I mean, if we get another weekly candle green next week, that's 8. Then how many, are we betting it just goes to 10, 11, 12 weekly candles in a row green without showing any sort of pullback? So I think that's something to bear in mind as well if if you're trying to gauge where we're going. But ultimately, obviously for now, we have Stonksy guiding us to the downside on the 1 hour for the time being. But yeah, to the upside, it's pretty easy. I think we just really obviously reclaim this previous all-time high, which then opens obviously running the highs and recording new highs. Good evening, Discipline. Look on Peanuts. I can look on Peanuts. 7 weekly. Yeah, that's it. Where other dudes was just in, probably just busy, mate. It is a Sunday, isn't it? It is a Sunday. Discipline says I'm out on watching, but you can check the 4-hour chart. We're still about 50 EMA. I can do that for you, mate. Yeah, I can do that for you. Let's see. Let's see. So you want me to check the 50? Let's put it in green and nice and thick. We are closing. Currently at the moment, as it stands, right on it. Maybe just above. Let's see. Yeah, just above, just. But yeah, 4-hour 50 EMA. Yeah, well, as it stands just now, we've pushed a little bit higher, so potentially reclaiming that, mate, yeah. Let's see, what else have we got going on? Hello, mate, how we doing, Pappy? I mean above, yeah. We, at the moment, as it stands, we'd be closing back above on the 4-hour with an hour and 15 minutes left to go on that 4-hour candle. ICT says, so I got arrested. Not surprised, mate. Not surprised. Are you going to type out the story, I'm guessing? But yeah, that weekly... Then weekly candles are obviously something to bear in mind for sure. Just the sheer amount of green weekly candles we've had. And it's something we don't typically see. We have had 8. This one was 8. But then obviously then it was consolidation. So I think, yeah, it's something to definitely bear in mind. I mean, and who's to say we don't, we could get something like this just because, potentially the weekly candle break comes to an end with maybe a red one next week or whatever. Doesn't mean that we're suddenly going down. These were red and the price really didn't go anywhere. It's just more kind of consolidation before further expansion. But yeah, I thought definitely something to cover and something to take note of, because this just depicts what we already know, which has been up only price action. But yeah, currently as it stands, let's look at the 1 hour. So we have, looking like, obviously where Stonksy's drew this green line here at 106,800. Does look like it is coming in as some lower time frame support, doesn't it? This is where Saturday's low came in. Then we did have today, and then later on again today, and it's held. It's held for the the candle closes on the 1 hour so far where Stonksy's drew this line. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on, without a doubt. And we all were arrested for making boiled chicken on the border. Well, that's what you get, mate. That's what you get for making boiled chicken. Right, someone asked me to check Peanut. So Peanut... So it looks like it's potentially maybe coming in to retest the previous time where it found demand. It's not too far away. I think something like Peanut, it's had obviously a great rally, but much like all memes, as you can see, they thrive when the market is good. You'll get more returns than anything else typically on meme coins than anything else. But also, when the market turns bad, you will also get the bigger drawdowns than anything else. So I think this, alongside pretty much all other memes that are relevant, just depend on Bitcoin, keeping the market nice and juicy. But in terms of looking at, Peanut itself, potentially maybe we come back down and test this area where it found demand earlier in May. Keep an eye out for that for sure. Let's go on ahead. Should we take a look at ETH? Let's see what ETH has been doing. So ETH is still within. There's nothing, in my opinion anyway, there's nothing to panic about on ETH. We are just... Oh, let me dim that back down. We're just within one big trading range, aren't we? As you can see, we had the big old rally, 40% rally, and since then we are just in one big trading range. We haven't had it. We've got clear. I actually want to... I'll tell you what, actually, let me draw this out instead. We've got clear resistance and we've got clear support. So pretty much ETH is just cooling off, consolidating and waiting for, that next move, i.e. probably the next big Bitcoin dominance drop. But as it stands, we've got support down here, around 2,430 2030/40, and then we have got resistance up here at 2700, and this is it until we get a break of support or a break of resistance. ETH is literally just trading within this range, so nothing really of note on ETH, to be honest. No, I don't turn my camera on Sunday nights because it's a short stream. So no, I won't be doing that, mate. Camera will be back on for tomorrow's stream, although there is no US Open tomorrow. Let's see what happened. Was anyone watching the final day of the football anyway? So top four, obviously Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea got fourth. Then Newcastle got that fifth spot. Look on goal difference. What happened in the Villa game? Who was Villa playing? United. They beat them 2-0. Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. So Villa miss out on Champions League football. Wow. Okay. Well. Yeah. So that's ETH pretty much just waiting for a break of support or resistance on that. What else we got? We've got Sol, which again we've covered on pretty much all week actually. But this is the region to gain. This region to gain here on the daily to move towards up here. And then the region to hold. And until then, Sol is exactly like ETH. Sol is exactly like ETH. If you look at it, it's just trading within a range. So nothing really much to report on Sol or ETH, apart from they're still flat, still just trading within the range, and they need to obviously break support or resistance for the next expansion. But yeah, do make sure you get a like in on the video, and if you want me to look at anything specific, get it in the comments, and I can definitely do that. Let me just take a look through. Oh, so we've got some interest. We've got hype up 8%. Wow. So this is really in its expansive phase, isn't it? Hype. It's really in its expansive phase. It's now moving close to an all-time high. So the all-time high was, let's go and earmark that out, $42.25 was the all-time high on hype. We do have the Stonksy green background that's came in as well, and is up nicely since that came in. Now do note as well where the all-time high is on hype here. If hype was to come up and get that, then that is coming at the moment. So we're breaking out of the inner channel on Stonksy, and we would come right to the upper band of the outer channel, which is interesting, which suggests, could we get something like this on hype? Maybe push up, create a new all-time high, hit exhaustion, kind of exactly what Bitcoin's done, and then drop back below. That's exactly what Bitcoin's done, hasn't it? If we look at Bitcoin, we got push up, expansion for a short period, consolidation, ran out of steam, drop back below. I think it's definitely something to monitor on hype, with having this upper band very close to where it would shoot up and create a new all-time high, and then potentially maybe run out of steam and look for a pullback. I think that's something we'll monitor moving into this week. But yeah, hype's still moving very, very strongly in the market, up 8% today, while everything else is pretty much down. So yeah, that is definitely something to monitor. I'll be back in 1 second. Right. If anyone's got any questions or thoughts or feelings on the market, get them in the chat. and we can definitely analyze that. But yeah, from what I can see, there's nothing too much else going on the watch list. From what I can see anyway. Everything else is kind of down around, you know, a handful of percent, isn't it? But Bitcoin is having a little, it's trying, isn't it? It's definitely trying on this hourly candle. It's trying to push back up. Let's go and take a look at the liquidation levels. So for 24-hour liquidity, we have a decent chunk down towards 106k, and then obviously liquidity building above towards the all-time high. We will probably see that on all accounts. 3-day again. So it looks like where Bitcoin has been finding obviously support here, low time frame support here. This, oh, hang on, let me turn this off. Yeah, this area here below the lows is definitely prime for liquidity grabbing, which actually, if you note as well, would come into contact with the lower of the inner channel right about here. So that potentially is something to keep an eye on, which may provide a great long opportunity moving into the new week. The 1 week, obviously, liquidity built above the all-time high. And then, like we mentioned on the 3-day, nice juicy liquidity built below the weekend lows. And then on the monthly, we have the biggest hotspot still remaining at 92,500. So yeah, pretty much the long and short of the liquidity is, as you'd expect, juicy liquidity above the all-time high, and then to the downside, really built below these weekend lows, which could maybe get taken early in the week before any bounce. ICT says, I got out of jail around 6 days ago and haven't been. How long was you in jail for, ICT? How long was you in jail for? Save says, Bitcoin is flip-flopping red/green on the 5 minute. That's what I'm looking at. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting week for sure. Might just need to put 10k on black. How about you send me it instead? Send me it instead. And let me trade with you 10k under the assumption that if I lose it all, then it's obviously your fault. But if I happen to gain some, then we split the profits. But yeah, I mean, as you can see across the watch list, there's not really been too much movement. Even with this Bitcoin downturn, it's still only down 0.36% today, with major altcoins down low single figures. But the hype pump is obviously the big outlier this weekend. $14 days. No, I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't want to spend even 14 days in jail. I don't think I'd want to do even 1 day in jail. So, even though it doesn't sound like a lot, it's still way too much for me to do 14 days. But yeah, not too much else going on really, is there? Obviously, it's Sunday, so we can't take a look at stocks or anything else. Everything else is closed. But Bitcoin keeps rallying on. Well, say rallying on. Ticking over. TikTok next block. But yeah, I do think these, liquidity levels will be something to watch out for this week. If we get rid of this, and obviously we have the all-time high there, we can just mark, we'll mark out liquidity levels there. So these are the two liquidity levels definitely to watch out for this week. But watch the bands, watch the channel for sure on this, because as you can see, the channel, look at this on Friday into early Saturday, interacted with the lower end of the channel and then bounced, interacted with the lower end of the channel, bounced. Obviously that was more of a scalp trade. This was a really nice bounce if you got in on that, but then nice little scalp long there, came close to it, didn't actually interact with the band itself, the lower of the inner band. But if we do get the drop in the next say 12 hours or so, pushing into liquidity, which is around here below these key weekend lows, would shove it right into the lower end of the inner channel, which again maybe gets something like this. So these channels are massive, absolutely massive. Save, have you had much chance to look at the channel? GE, good evening. I mean, I wasn't alone. We were 9 dudes in jail, so it was the best time of my life. I bet it was, yeah. I bet it was. I bet you was having the time of your life, mate. Hal says, our friend Powell talking in half an hour. Oh, is he? Oh, that's good. I didn't know that. I did not know that. It's Sunday anyway. I'll only be on a short stream. I'll probably only be on for another 15 minutes. Have you been doing much trading, Hal? How's your stuff been going? I'll tell you what, should we look at XRP? Because XRP is, and look at that. I'm quite disappointed with myself actually, because look at exactly where XRP stopped. Right on the level, and then just dipped into the box. But XRP, damn, that would have been a really nice short. I mean, how much down? How much? Well, to be fair, it's only 12%. It's not massive, is it? But still would have been nice. But I mean, XRP is still wedged. This is what I consider, the key levels for XRP. So you've got the kind of key resistance, but then extension into here. You can see price extend into this range, into this box, and then still drop back below and fail. And then obviously $2, around $2 is, the key range low. But yeah, I'm disappointed with that. I didn't even notice that it came up to there in all the excitement. But yeah, not really much going on with XRP. It's pretty much back in the middle, isn't it? So it's in no man's land, really. Unless you're looking to, I mean, really, where Stonksy's got this support level drib is actually pretty bang on in terms of what's happened this weekend. As you can see, you know why it's drew it as support, because we've had, support, and then again, but it, especially on this candle here, just came down and completely wiped out all the liquidity built below this low, and these lows here. So that looks like actually a pretty clean liquidity sweep. So the reclaim of this level here actually looks pretty decent for it. Unless, obviously Bitcoin just takes the market down with it. Not red folder news though. Yeah, probably. I mean, never really says anything different, does it? The thing with Powell is really the only time we're going to get actually something of note is on the FOMC meeting. unless, you know, he comes out and really gives some really, you know, key indication that they're going to cut before the FOMC meeting, but I don't know. Couple of crypto trades, but personally sticking to FX and gold at the moment. Yeah, I can imagine cigarettes and stuff like that are the price in jail, both currency. I've been playing with the channel, still working on strategy for them. Touches the 1 hour, look quite good. Yeah, that's what I've been really noticing. Just any kind of touches, but particularly, I've noticed like price action spends the majority of its time. I'd say like 95% plus of its time within the inner channel. So catching, you know, moves on the upper or lower end of the inner channel, typically your risk reward is good for hitting a trade to, you know, to the reverse, even if it's a scalp. But when you get an extent, you know, something like this here, when price dips out of the inner channel and gets really close to the outside of the channel, that's kind of like a really good risk reward to hit it back to the opposite side. Obviously, we do get periods like this where, you know, price will just keep hugging the upper side of, oh, well, you know, even if it was to the downside, the one side of the inner channel, and then even to the outer side. But, you know, that's on really strong volatile moves, isn't it? When price actually settles down and trades normally, because we don't really get this often. You know, we get this pretty much, be even lucky to get this once a week, wouldn't we? You know, we've not had any. This was a lot more controlled. But yeah, especially when price gets here, your risk reward is good, I think, to hit it to the opposite side. I bought Hyperliquid below $1 billion market cap. I don't know what it's even at now. What dollar price did you buy it at? Do you reckon CME opens tonight? FYI, it closed 108.370. Yeah, so CME will still, even though stock market's closed tomorrow, CME will still open tonight, to my knowledge anyway. Yeah. So even though the stock market's closed tomorrow, yeah, CME will, you know, open as usual in 4 hours and 3 minutes. So it's 108.370. Like you said, which puts it, if we mark it on the chart here, so 108, let's put it on here. So 108. $370. So yeah, that would give it a decent little push, wouldn't it? About another K push to the upside if it's going to close on. There's no way. There's no way you could have bought it at $3 to $4. It's impossible. There's no way you could have bought Hyperliquid at $3 to $4 because it launched at, it came out the traps at $10. That's when that's when on launch day, when it launched on everything, it came out the traps at $10, and it only dipped to $9 something. So there's no way you could have bought it at $3 to $4. That's impossible. Did you buy it at $9? You know, like $10. I mean, if you bought it at $10, you know, you're on a near 4x, so that's really good. But there's no way you could have bought it at $3 to $4. BPN Mega says, "What we saying, lads?" Hello, BPN Mega. Great to see you. Explains the name at least, yeah. I'm short, doing sick, but waiting for Cookie to drop, which is my biggest short. Okay, Cookie. ICT says I had the CA. Not how it works. They didn't just launch on Pump Fun. They didn't just launch Hyperliquid on Pump Fun. It was a very controlled launch. It was a multi-billion-dollar launch. They launched on pretty much all exchanges on day one. You couldn't have had the CA. Because it's not like it was launched on Pump Fun or anything. So I think you're telling fibs, to be honest. Anyway, let's look at Cookie for our guy BPN in the chat. So you are short on Cookie. So what I can note on Cookie is, obviously, it's had a great deal of a push up. Now, if we look specifically to Stonksy, we are, like I mentioned, I don't know when you joined the stream, BPM, but like I was covering stuff. So these, for anyone who doesn't know, these channels are the latest update to Stonksy. Now, price action spends the majority of its time within the inner channel. So when it tests one end of the channel, more than likely it's going to spring back. But especially if it pierces through and starts trading within the outer channel, it's really only a matter of time before it pulls back in either direction. Now, look at what happened the last time Cookie traded above the upper channel and then spent a bit of time inside the outer channel. It dropped back below. I got a pretty harsh pullback. We can see that Cookie is doing something, obviously not directly the same, but pretty similar. It is trading within this outer channel. Now, obviously something to note is the outer channel goes all the way up to 37 cents. So I don't really know. It doesn't look like it massively scams a lot, Cookie, but there's not loads of price action using this Binance chart, but it doesn't look like one of them where you get just some crazy wild wick. Obviously on this day we did, but I'm guessing that was a day that Bitcoin done well. So potentially, yeah, I'd like, you would like to see Cookie pull back and hopefully make for your short it does so. We haven't got any indication yet on Stonksy on the 1 hour for a red background, but price is consolidating, which is good, I think, for you, because if you notice, this could be distribution. This could be, after such a run like this, a 2x. This could be distribution, which then obviously would lead to correction. Look what Bitcoin done most recently. We distributed and then bang. So yeah, hopefully, mate, you get that push to the downside. I would like 23 cents on Cookie before we blast, but don't always get oil. That's it, mate. That's it. Yeah, this is trading, isn't it? An opinion on LMWR. There's no way you bought it below $8, mate. It's impossible. How could you have bought it below $8? Where would you have bought it below $8? It hasn't gone that low, but to that price on any exchanges. But yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. I thought I'd have a look for you while you mentioned you were short on it. LMWR, let's take a look. LimeWire. This is LimeWire. Is this a LimeWire token? Why have I not heard of this before? I used to use LimeWire when I was younger to download songs. I didn't even know LimeWire had its own token. How funny is that? I mean, to be fair, it's kind of doing what you would want it to do. So I think we can pretty much gauge that here is what looks like to be an accumulation range. It's definitely a trading range, that's for sure. We won't know it's an accumulation range for sure until obviously it breaks to the upside and starts expanding. But at the moment, we can obviously say that this is a trading range. You've got clear resistance up here, haven't you? And then You know, you could draw it like that if you wanted to, and this was kind of just a deviation below. But you know, you've got down here where demand's coming. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing really too much to say about it. Obviously, if it does drift lower, you know, you want to see demand coming in and it not heading to new lows. If it heads to new lows, then you just don't know where it's going to settle, do you? Because there's no price history for you to suggest, oh, well, you know, that level was previously support, so let's watch that or nothing. It's really difficult when prices moving downwards and there's no history to judge where it's going to settle, because then it could just drop 10%, 20, 50, 60, whatever. But if it does drop any, you know, towards the downside of this box, you definitely want to see demand coming in here and price hold. But resistance is to the upside, so you know, you would want to see price break above here on the daily, hold above obviously, and then start to expand. Let's have a look on the 1 hour. Yeah, I mean, I think that something like this, that's pretty much it, because there's nothing real else to comment on, is there? Because there's nothing of note until it breaks above, say, like 12 cents and holds above. But definitely to the downside, if it starts coming anywhere near, like, you know, 7.5 cents ish, again, you want to see demand start to come in and buyers start stepping in to stop selling pressure. Limeware. Hello, Math. How we doing, mate? Any chance of a quick update on Say? I forgot I still own some. Hoping it's building towards a big pump. I'll tell you what, let's take a look at Say, yeah? Let's see, where is it? Here it is. So, it did push up now. I think we'll start on the daily chart. So, this is obviously what I was looking at on Say. So on the daily, we want to see it, you know, reclaim this zone, and as you can see, earlier in the month we rejected from there and then have sold off again. So it's pretty clear that this needs to happen on Say. We need to break above and hold above, like, you know, 28.5 to 29 cents on the daily. Needs to break above and hold above that. Maybe even, you know, you could call it 28 cents if you want. But it definitely needs to break and hold above this zone to then open the door. So originally I was looking at a pump all the way up there, but I think maybe this 36 cents region looks like it might cause a bit of an issue here with this, you know, kind of SR going on here. So I'd be looking at this 36 as one. So expansion, and I think, you know, you've got one stop and then two stop potentially. That looks, obviously, that is just defined as key resistance on the daily, isn't it? But that looks like it could cause a bit of an issue there. You can see, you know, support came in and then bang, 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 resistance. So I think I'd be looking at that. I mean, if we go any more downside, you've obviously got, if we scale down into, say, the 4 hour, you've got this, haven't you? Where price originated the pump. So you would definitely want to see, if we do get there, 20 cents ish hold and then for a bounce. So to the downside, yeah, I'd be watching for the reaction at 20 cents and wanting that to hold. And then to the upside, yeah, you definitely want it to break above like 28 cents, maybe even 29, and start to hold above. And then you've got, you know, like a 20% plus pump to first objective, and then another nice pump to second. That's what I'd be looking at on Say, I think. But I don't think we had any Stonksy background on that, did we, either? Let's see. What was we doing on Stonksy? Where's Say gone? Yeah, so really nice drop course on Stonksy there, and it played it pretty perfectly, and it caught the drop here, then caught the giga pump up, We did go into a temporary green background, which came out and then caught the big drop on it. Then we had this one here, which closed around break even, and then pump up, and then close around break even, but did get a nice pump up there. That was like a 10% pump. And then we've gone into the red, and as you can see, what's interesting on say is it's really hugging the lower end of this channel. Really it's just kind of like stares down, isn't it? Like just sidestepping, just like so. Maybe it just finishes it off. But yeah, I think that's what I'd be looking at, mate. BPN says don't follow Ash Crypto. I don't think I follow that guy. I don't know who that is. Hal says got my last unlock of Sui yesterday, pegged at $1.70. Oh, that is nice, mate. So where is Sui now? Oh, so that's like a 2x, isn't it? Just over a 2x at the current price. Very nice. And Sui is coming into the region that we've been looking at. So Stonksy's caught a nice drop on it, but as you can see, I was looking at kind of this region here for Sui to trade into and bounce, and we did get very, very close. That came down to 342. So it's kind of about 2 cents away. But if we look on the hourly, you could have actually drawn that a little bit higher. You could have actually moved that up to where these 1 hour closes was. So really, that was kind of bang on. So Sui potentially looks set for a bounce as long as, you know, the market holds up. If Bitcoin holds up, we could see a nice bounce on Sui. And 411, remember it as the key daily level. 411 is the key daily level, in my opinion, for it to close above on the daily. If it doesn't stays above, probably like 450 next, so that would be a 10% pump away, and then $5 after that, and then above their all-time high. So yeah, but nice, mate. That's a nice little OTC you was in there. Kind of wonder if there's much mind share in say now. Oh, you mean Sui? Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting, isn't it? Yeah, I remember them when they were pretty much both very similar. I just subbed off for a shower piece. Very nice, BPN, thank you. And anyone else that's watching that hasn't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. And of course, you can get 20% off Stonksy still. It's the second link in the description. Come over to the website, start now, and then it's this monthly plan that you want. And if you use code BOT20, so that's BOT20, on this at checkout, put it in the discount box, you get 20% off your first month, taking it down to £116. That means you get full indicator access, oscillator access, Discord access, and trading bot access. Or we have obviously just launched this Stonksy oscillator plan for £37 a month on a limited time offer. So that means you just get the oscillator here, but you do also get Discord access with that. But you don't get full indicator access. So you don't get this above here. You just get the oscillator and Discord access. So you don't get actual Stonksy indicator or bot access. You just get oscillator and Discord. But that is one of the that is the new plan that we've just launched. So yeah. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching tonight. It's been a nice little Sunday evening stream. I'm going to leave it there, so I'll be back tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, I'll be switching it up a bit, I think. Is it bank holiday? It's just a paid Discord, mate. So the Discord comes with any Stonksy plan. It comes with any Stonksy plan. But yeah, it's a locked one only for users. So you do get it with this oscillator plan, which is currently on offer for 37. Or you obviously get it in any of these as well. Yeah, but no worries, mate. Thank you for subbing to the channel. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. Probably, I think I might do a morning stream tomorrow, actually, because there's no US Open tomorrow. So there's nothing to really like wait around for the afternoon. So I might do a morning stream tomorrow with it being bank holiday too. Might be able to catch some more people at home, just chilling out or whatever. So yeah, do look out for that. I will be still going live tomorrow, even though it's bank holiday. I might just do an hour tomorrow with it. being no US Open. So yeah, that should be good. But enjoy the rest of your evening. I hope you've had a great weekend. And yeah, if you haven't, please do like, subscribe, join Stonksy, and check the link in the description as well to join BLOFIN. It is the best non-KYC exchange in the industry. And with the Stonksy link, you do get some great welcome bonuses. But yeah, that's all from me. Ciao for now, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.